My first millionaire mentor ever told me one thing that I'll never forget. He said, if you want to be successful, you can learn from other people's mistakes. But if you want to be ultra successful and be a multimillionaire, you need to learn from other people's mistakes so you don't waste as much time making the same ones and you can cut your learning curve in half. If I was to sit with my 20-year-old self and give myself one conversation, I'd share these brutal truths that changed my life that I wish I would have known back when I was 20 years old. These would have saved me thousands of hours of frustration, of anxiety, of headache. And although I have made millions of dollars at a younger age, I would have made more quicker with less stress. Now, some of these might be hard to hear, but they're the ones that changed everything for me. And I think if you really have a desire to be successful and to live a world-class life and to have freedom and to do what you want on your terms, I think you'll be glad you hear these. So in this video, I'm gonna share the 5 brutal truths I wish I knew in my 20s. Now, I'm not someone who's just sharing these from afar, who has studied success. I've lived it, I've stumbled through it, I've been in the trenches, and I've earned it the hard way. Over the last 15 plus years, I've built multiple 7-figure businesses, I've mentored thousands of ambitious entrepreneurs, and I've uncovered what truly works to have it all in a sense. Have freedom, success, time freedom, financial freedom, and independence from a boss or from other people telling you what to do or what you're worth. The lessons didn't just help me succeed, they transformed every area of my life. And now I'm gonna share with you, so you can skip this painful learning curve that I had to go through that I wish I would have done differently in a sense, right? Before we dive in, I'd love for you to subscribe, and I assure you that we will continue to bring valuable and comprehensive, relevant content that helps you live a life truly on your terms. Lesson 1 that no one ever told me. I grew up thinking it was all about sheer hard work. It wasn't about working smarter, it was about working harder. The hardest working person wins. And I realized quickly after working 80, 90 hours a week with nothing changing and me struggling and seeing certain people I looked up to working half the time, traveling, making more money, I realized something was off. No one told me, and I would tell myself, it's not the hours you work, it's the work you put in those hours. I know people now working nonstop who have no leverage, who don't understand how money works, struggling. And I know people who work a couple hours a day on their terms and make millions. So don't just value hard work, value freedom and lifestyle. You got to get yourself some leverage and understand, yes, you want to get good at something, but nowadays with real estate, with Airbnbs, with crypto, with blockchain, there's ways to maximize your output, maximize your results for smaller amount of hours, especially with AI. So you have to understand that if you only make more money when you work more hours, you'll never have true freedom. So the key is leverage. I'm gonna give you 5 types of leverage that you wanna work on getting for yourself and mastering if you want more freedom. Number 1 is financial leverage. Number 2 is time leverage / technological leverage. 3 is product or produce leverage. Number 4 is human capital leverage. And number 5 is social leverage. So first, understanding financial leverage is this involves borrowed capital or debt to increase the potential return on your investment. And in business, this can mean taking out a loan to expand operations, investing in marketing, or acquiring assets that generate consistent income that you can pay back. Now, you can also use time leverage. It's super important to leverage time, which involves delegating or outsourcing tasks that you don't need to be directly involved in. If someone could do something 80% as good as you, get rid of it and delegate it. Don't be a know-it-all and don't be a do-it-all. I, at the beginning, thought nobody could do it as good as me. And it cost me hundreds of hours of trying to do everything myself when there was people out there who loved what I hated doing and were better at me at it, so I could focus on my most important tasks that are my skills and my strengths. Now, by freeing up your time, you can focus on high impact activities that drive growth and value. Or technological leverage, the use of technology to automate and enhance productivity. And you can also reach a wider audience with less effort. This can include everything from simple automation tools to sophisticated AI tools to streamlining. What streamlining means is you create a video like this one time and you chop it up, you make 50 videos from it, you do the audio version, you put it on a podcast, you put it on shorts, you put it on reels, you put it on TikTok. One piece of content streamlined to 10 different places. That's leveraging technology and leveraging your time and leveraging social media. There's product leverage. This type of leverage is achieved by creating products or services that can be sold multiple times without increasing the production costs or the time you spend. Membership projects, digital courses, software is a good example of this as well. So you can leverage and you can create something that can be sold multiple times. A membership site is a good example. You create a membership site, you add to it, and whether you have 1,000 members or 50,000 members, it's the same amount of work for you. You might need more customer service, but that's human leverage, right? Human capital leverage is this: leveraging the skills and talents and efforts of others to grow your business with you. This can mean hiring employees, partnering with experts, using contractors to perform things that are expanding your capacity or beyond your capacity. I think everybody should have an executive assistant. You can get a business manager, hire people that are better than you at what you don't like doing. Even if they're 80% as good as you should be in your gifts and strengths. I was doing everything myself and it cost me years of frustration. Lastly is social leverage. This is utilizing groups, utilizing networks, utilizing relationships, social platforms, events, masterminds to reach more clients without significant direct cost. The importance of building a strong brand and leveraging social proof to enhance business is crucial if you want more freedom. So understanding that it's not about the hours you work, but the work you put in the hours. It's not about working harder. And nowadays, it's not about working smarter. It's about working right. There's 1,000 ways to get to an end result. And I would tell my younger self, hey, there's 1,000 ways to get to this result you want, but there's one optimal way based on your strengths and gifts and based on real business. So understand the game. Number 2, this is very important. Who you know is 1,000 times more important than what you know. So for the first couple of years, it was all about hard work. I kept running into the same issues. And then I was studying, reading. I would lock myself away. I would give myself isolation and I would meet nobody. Now, I realized that I was in a sacrifice stage. I was in the trenches. I didn't want to meet people till I was successful, but that's the wrong mentality. I would say, hey, understand your network is more important than anything. So here's how this changed. A couple of years into my entrepreneur journey, I was struggling. I was frustrated. And I had the same issue over and over for about a year. I remember meeting someone at a mastermind event, and I remember having such pain that I couldn't solve this problem. I said, you know what? This guy was successful. Let me call him real quick and see if he can help me. I called him. I was banging my head against the wall until I made this phone call. It was hard for me, but I was desperate. I called him. I told him my issue. He connected me with somebody and he solved my problem within 5 minutes. He said, he's been there. Here's what he did. It wasn't even in my brain space to think that way. And he gave me a connection. It changed my business forever. This is the game changer. You don't need to solve the problem if your network has solved the problem. Which means stop banging your head against the wall and stop trying to figure everything out yourself. Go to your network. They can solve the problem for you. He solved my problem in 5 or 10 minutes. So you don't need to figure it out when you have the right network. So mastermind, network, get involved with high-level people. I also would tell myself under networking, I need to have a strong advisory board. This consists of a good lawyer, a good accountant, a good health coach, wealth coach, an executive assistant or business manager. If you want to get to the 7, 8, 9 figure mark, you need to have a solid advisory board. You need to have a network, of course, but get a good lawyer or attorney to dot the I's and cross the T's. Get a good accountant so you can make sure you maximize your tax benefits. Get a good health coach, wealth coach, and business manager, right? Now, the figure it out myself mentality is one of the most destructive and counterproductive mentalities you could ever have. So I would tell myself, be a learn-it-all, not a know-it-all, and ask for help. Number 3, the mind and body connection. When you're young, you don't think about the power of your temple, the power of health, the power of vitality, but this will actually give you a massive competitive advantage, and it's becoming a superhuman. I've tried everything, and what worked for me personally was more towards the carnivore diet, meats and low carbs, but what you put in your body is more important than how you work out. Now, you want to do both. You want to have the right vitamins. You want to have a consistent workout routine. You want to get sun. You have to have B12, zinc, elderberry. I do magnesium at night, helps me sleep amazing. Collagen after workouts. There's this stuff you can actually look up online. Collagen after workouts helps your body recover quicker. But I'll tell you this, Nothing tastes as good as health feels. Eat for vitality, not instant pleasure. I know you want to eat that pizza or that greasy burger with fries, but the taste for 5 seconds is there and then it's gone and you feel like crap afterwards and your body's slowly deteriorating. You have less energy, your brain is foggy, and you don't have clear thinking. When you eat healthier and you eat based off real research and vitality, you eat good food, you feel better, you act better, you think better, you execute better. So I tried in my early 20s, but I still was fatigued all the time. I am healthier now in my 30s and feel more alive and vibrant than when I was 18, 19, 20 because of what I was putting in my body. So I'm not gonna give you a whole health course, just pay attention. I don't do alcohol much anymore, occasionally if I go out, but we don't have sweets in our house. I don't do sugar. Sugar is the death and the number one of the top reasons for disease. Now, I'm not saying don't eat sugar once in a while, but don't overindulge. Moderation is good, but anything too much of it is not good, especially bad food. I would tell myself, if you focus on health, if you focus on vitality and energy, imagine you have all the money in the world, all the time in the world, you're living your purpose, you're loving life, but you have no energy and you're sick. You would give it all back. They say you could have 1,000 goals, but when you have a bad health problem or your health deteriorates, you have one goal, getting better and being healthier. So I know people that have multi-millions of dollars, but they're unhealthy. They would give all their money to be healthy again. So protect your body, protect your mind, protect your temple. Number 4, power of faith over fear. Fear is robbing so many people of their dreams, of their goals, and doubt is killing more people's dreams than failure ever will. So replacing fear with faith, because fear is false evidence appearing real, which means fear actually makes things worse than they are. And I had a lot of fear. I had imposter syndrome. I had fear of failure. I had fear of missing out. I had a lot of fear. But when you have fear, it actually makes things worse than they actually are. So I would tell myself the best thing to do is put faith over fear. Fear actually weakens your immune system and makes you think blurry and not think as good for your future. Now, this is a couple points under this. First off, fear does make things worse. And if you have fear, then not only are you worst case scenario, but you play out things in your head that could never happen. Successful people focus on the future 9-1 compared to the past. When you have fear, it makes you miss your past and wish that things were different. Faith makes you excited about your future. So always put things in front of you you're excited about that challenge you. Also, I had a journey with God in the past couple of years, and it's made everything better. When you put God first and He's your source, you don't fear man, you walk differently, you walk more righteous, and it's just more peaceful. And I used to think that when I put God first and I wasn't as angry or ambitious. A lot of things I did when I was younger was based out of proving people wrong, out of anger, out of frustration, and I did well. Broke a lot of records in my previous company, built a multi-million-dollar empire, made my first 6 figures, early 20s, I was making 300-400K, made my first million, but it was out of anger and frustration. And I thought if I put God first and I got rid of anger and I forgave people and I came from a place of faith, that I would lose my edge. But you know what's crazy? You actually gain a bigger edge. I made more money. I've had better relationships with my family, better relationship with my wife, with my kids. Forgiving people is the best thing you could ever do, because if you hold on to anger, it's like expecting them to get hurt and you to thrive, but you have the anger. So the reality is it's made everything better. I have way more peace and way more success and results, and life is way better. So put faith over fear. I think that's a huge key. I wish I would have got closer to God sooner and stayed in the Word. Number 5, lastly, this is a big one. I put this in all my books because I did learn this earlier, so I'm glad this helped me, but it's the power of mastery versus overload. Most people overload themselves with information. They watch YouTube videos, they read books, they consume so much. And if you consume so much and you read so much without taking action, you get overwhelmed. And when you're overwhelmed, you seek distraction. So instead of reading 25 books this year, master one. Instead of having 5 mentors, have one. Instead of going to 10, 20, 30 events, go to 1 or 2 events that are most relevant to your business and then execute at the highest level on those. Instead of having 100 friends, have a couple really strong friends. Instead of starting 3 businesses, master 1 business. I wish I would have went all in on 1 business, not done 5 or 6. And we've done well. We've done 7 figures in Mastermind in all kinds of different arenas. I've done it in crypto. I've done it in events. I've done it in speaking. I've done it in book sales. But if I would have just focused on one, it would have been way more results, easier than doing multiple businesses. Now, once you have a business that is systemized, that can grow on its own, then you can go to the next business. But you try to catch 2 rabbits, you catch none. So focus on mastery versus overloading yourself. Do not move on until you've seen results from that previous content. If you read a book, if you watch a video, don't move on and continue studying and learning unless you've executed and you've seen results from the previous content. This will save you years of wasted learning, headache, and frustration. And underneath mastery versus overload, there's no perfect time. I used to wait for the perfect time, and most people spend their lives saying, you know what, the first half, I'm too young. The second half, they say, I'm too old. Now matters. Most people spend their life on someday I'll be successful. Someday I'll start the business. Someday I'll have time freedom, location freedom, and financial freedom. Not right now. And they come up with all these creative validations and excuses to keep them in the prison. You have to tell yourself, you create the perfect time by taking action, by making a decision. Now matters more than ever. Don't wait like most people. If I knew these at age 18, 19, 20, my life would be drastically different. I would be at a higher level quicker, and I want that for you. So hopefully you got value. If you could share with me below which one made the biggest impact, I'd love to hear what you would tell your 18, 19-year-old self if you're younger. Which one do you think will make the biggest difference on your life? I'd love to hear that. I'm gonna be in the comments. These truths and lessons, guys, have the power to completely change the game for you. They have the power to completely rip the old script and totally reinvent yourself if you allow them and you put them close to you. You write them down, you read them, you create affirmations around them, and you actually execute them. This will help you break free from the 9-to-5. This will help you live a life where you can make 5, 10, 20, 30K per month, even 100K per month, but it doesn't happen by chance. Your dream life won't just show up. You have to create it purposely and strategically. And it happens when you surround yourself with the right people and the right networks. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe, follow us for more exclusive strategies and advice, and let's rewrite your story and make 2025 the best year of your life. The only thing standing in your way is you taking action and how fast you implement these things you're learning. Once again, thanks so much for your time. I look forward to continuing to add value, and we'll see you on the next video.